Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, everybody? What's up, Chip? Hopefully you had a great weekend. Ripple XRP SECV Ripple settlement December 15th. What is that for real? And DeFi getting ready for explosive growth. Man, Chip, those are two massive topics to cover tonight with a whole bunch of other things in between.
Yeah, you ready to jump into it?
Let's kick it off.
Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Can we go now?
Can we go? Can we get a let's go?
Can we go? All right, so let's get to the topic at hand. Let's get to it right off the bat. Why don't we jump into it? Yeah, let's go. So there seems to be a lot of calendaring going on, and it started by Charles Hoskinson, one of the original founders of Ethereum, and he left that project pretty early on and started Cardano, which Cardano obviously a little more well thought out and positioned as a project's concerned. My personal opinion, not anybody's necessarily, but he went out there and he made some on a video, which let's load that video up and let's check this out because Jeff, we gotta break this down. We have to workshop it. We have to do a mini workshop on this thing. We got to figure out what exactly is Charles Hoskinson talking about. Okay, so let's look at the video that was circulated on the internet. And here it is right here. Hey, Mark Phillips.
So, Mark,
put this in here.
I would believe that then Ethereum and Bitcoin would also be securities, and they'd be in a bigger debacle. And this problem with regulations through enforcement, there's not much you can do. Just any given Sunday, it's whoever the regulator decides to pick. And then there's a big fight. $100 million is spent. It's brutal and vicious and a lot of hard feelings. And sometimes people win, sometimes people don't. I've heard rumors that the Ripple case will be settled December 15th, and we'll just see. And that could have catastrophic implications for the industry, one way or the other.
So there it was, right there. That was the other day. He was doing like
catastrophic implication.
It's like Mr. Doom
one way or the other.
That teddy bear comment up there again. I like this teddy bear comment.
You like that?
So Click 411 says Charles Hoskinson always looks like a bored teddy bear that's got nothing to do. He's got something to do. He's making predictions, right? And so there's been all kinds of speculation on this. All kinds of speculation on what's actually happening, which is pretty interesting to say the least. But what's funny is, let's put up this right here. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a poll that's still ongoing, guys. If you're on Twitter, go ahead and click on this poll. I want you guys to weigh in on this. This is a Twitter poll. There it is right there.
We can create a YouTube poll.
Yeah, but I don't really care about YouTube.
No, I'm saying right now within our own space.
I don't care because we're not going to top already. We already have 486. We're going for 589. So if we don't even have 500 people in here to do that. So it's potential.
No.
So Paul Phillips is talking some truth there.
500 people. Bring the people.
Paul Phillips is bringing the truth. Okay, the truth serum, the truth bombs. He says I can 100% safely say that something will happen at some point, or not, or not. It's like
or not. You just never know.
It could happen, or maybe it couldn't happen.
Eleanor Terrett says that Hoskinson's rumor is not true.
Okay,
but she has the pulse.
But who thought they were true? Do you think we thought they were true? Do you think that anybody on this planet Earth thought it was true? Do you think anybody on planet Mars thought it was true?
It's December 11th, so we've got 4 days.
Well, Jeff and I thought we'd goof on it a little bit, because everyone's throwing a calendar date out there.
I would like a settlement.
Oh, we all like a settlement, Jeff. But why would they spend over $120 million defending it and then just go like, yeah, we'll settle?
Yeah, we'll settle. The last 2 years, it was we're just playing around.
Yeah, and then I heard that he was trying to walk it back a little bit. Like, I guess, I don't know, it's December 15th or whatever. But and who did he hear it from? It's like not even a name source. Or it's just it's one of these things when you're doing these things live. Jeff and I often say things that you go like, oh, I don't know, it was just stream of consciousness. I was just talking. I know how that happens.
So Myron is saying our Porsche, Ferrari, and Lambo dealer is going to be busy next week. So that's the judge. So if good things happen, then all the The high-end performance
Sure.
automotive dealers will start selling out of vehicles.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, first of all, if it moons, like, first of all, I'm not getting any of those. Number one, not getting it. Jim D is in here again.
All right.
So let's put this poll up here, Jeff.
The last time Jim was on, he was at a piano bar watching us, and now he's at a jazz venue in Cocoa Beach watching us.
Yeah. So what?
Got some good jazz in the background. You should ask if you can stream it up on one of their big screens.
Let's do jazz hands. Cool. Jazz hands, baby. What are those jazz hands? What were those all about anyway? But anyway, so I put a poll up on this, right? So this is interesting. So let me go ahead and refresh this poll here. Let's see what we got going on here. So I said, hey, do you believe the rumor Charles Hoskinson heard that ASCC will settle with Ripple on December 15th? And right now, with 486 votes in, 21 hours left, it's a resounding no. So 82%, that's pretty overwhelming. But there are 17.9% of the people that think, yeah, well, maybe. I mean, surely hopeful, but quite honestly, I mean, so after all the work's been done, all of the briefs have been filed, all of this knockdown, drag out, brutal, bloody war, it's like it's going to settle on December 15th, right? It's pretty likely, right, Jeff?
That's it. December 15th. That's it. The final 5 days before the 2-year anniversary. It's done. It's over with. They're going to go to settlement, and we're going to be buying Mr. B and Quentin 203 a fat steak at their steakhouse of choice. However, I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I don't think so either. I really don't think it's going to happen. So there were some, but Rob Licker weighed in. He said, he got awful. See you next Tuesday-ish when David Gokhstein said that he, Charles Hoskinson, believed it would happen on 12/15. He huffed that he heard it. Not that he believed it, but you don't believe it, why mention it? So you see, it's like, it's a little bit of a clown show right there. Linus Wells jumped in and said, well, why would he know anything that's happening on the inside?
That's the thing. I mean, we've had, claims of, insider information, and, it's always, there's always some unnamed source. So who would be that unnamed source? That would mean that, he's talking to David Schwartz, maybe he's talking to Brad Garlinghouse directly. And then Brad Garlinghouse would say, hey,
sure.
Charles, do you mind? I'm going to give you this information. Keep it to yourself. But go ahead and send out a video. Just keep it to your closest circle of influence. It won't. Yeah. It's not going to go that far.
Don't worry about very own OTC Moneybags Not Bob said, I'm in a wait and see mode. I think everybody's in a wait and see mode. Wait and see, right? See what happens.
Wait and see.
Hydroponics Allen said, I said no, but Lord willing soon. So everyone's like, yeah, on an offshoot that it could be right. Yeah, go for it. Jimbo said he sounded genuinely rattled about something. See, this is where it gets really juicy. It's like we watched the video and he sounded rattled, Jeff. I mean, my God, did you hear his voice? There was some trepidation in that voice. It was wavering. I don't know. It just sounded like a guy's chatting.
It was. I just, I don't understand what he gains from coming out and talking about that. But on the other hand, I don't believe we'll see a settlement, but I do believe we're going to see some form of judgment. And I think we're getting a lot closer to that. And then on the anniversary, December 20th, when we have both John Deaton and Jeremy Hogan on the show with us, I think we're going to get into, a lot more detail.
Right on.
And we'll find just a lot more information. So, and I think that's really important.
Matt LaRoche has a theory. He thinks that maybe Charles might be dating Gensler's mom. So there's always that. So
there's always that.
There's always that. I mean, that's a possibility. And then
there's always
Citizen XRP said, many doubt rancher, but think about this. His ranch is connected to the CFTC. The CFTC buddies with the SEC personnel, chatter, and poof. December 15th, baby. I'm just speculating at this point. It's not financial advice. Now, who looks at this tweet, Jeff, honestly, and thinks, this must be financial advice. It's coming on December 15th. I better load up, right? But you got to protect yourself, apparently. So, yeah, there's always that. I'm guessing somebody. Now, this is my favorite one right here, Jeff. So Tom jumps in here. Tominator. He jumps in and he said, I'm guessing somebody above Gary Gensler wants the case finished. That's just my opinion. It's like political figures that Charles might know. Ooh, it gets deeper, right? Gary Gensler. How would you pronounce that, Jeff, if that were a real name?
Gary Gangster.
Gary Gensler, right?
Gangster.
So I said, Gary Gensler sounds even more sinister, like an evil Bond villain. So what I had some AI figure out what he would look like sitting by the fireplace in that creepy room he's always in. And I said, and there he is right there. There's Gary. That's not Gary Gensler. It's Gary
Yeah,
Gensler.
Gunsler.
Gary Gensler right there. So there he is. Looks like he has a black eye too, right? I don't know. It's all weird looking. Fire in the background. He's got a suit and tie on, holding his knee up there.
And I can't even keep up with the amazing commentary that's coming in here.
That's good, right? And then Giuseppe said, I don't believe it, but I won't close out the possibility. Nobody wants to let go of the possibility. I understand that. And then there you go right there. That sounds like a crazy conspiracy theory. Yeah.
All right.
XRP baby. Possible that there'd be a settlement on the date behind the scenes, but that doesn't mean the end of the case will be officially announced on this date. So there you go. There's just all kinds of comments and people.
Let's look at some commentary from the from everybody that's in here right now, because we've got some really great ones. First of all, we've got Brett, our only listener in Nebraska, joined us tonight.
Thank you, Brett.
So what's going on, Brett, over in Nebraska? Everyone give a quick shout out where you're tuning in from. And if you're the second listener from Nebraska, let us know.
Could be Jeff.
We've got Manhattan, Kansas in the house. So there we go.
As always, Justin
and Justin is saying, thank whoever gifted me an OTC membership. And Justin, I believe that was Liz.
That was Liz Taylor.
Liz Taylor was gifting out some.
She
OTC
gifted five of those yesterday. And so again, like Jeff and I always say, not always, but it's just a new thing. It's like, hey, you know what? If you want to support the channel, feel free. If you don't, it's always going to be free. But it could always go away. You never know. I mean, especially now we've
got some crypto Armageddon, EV Digital, Long Island, New York, catastrophic because the clarity might only be for XRP and none of the others.
Ooh, I like that. Spicy.
Lobster Manfish, LFG. Let's F and go.
Yeah.
I'm on the wrong side of 65 and been buying XRP since 2018. Come on, let's go. Let's do this already. Matt, I think Charles might be dating Gensler's mom. I think that's where you got.
Yeah, we already got that, dude.
That's where you got that one.
Come on, man.
Mike's in Staffordshire and freezing over there in England. Very hydroponics. Alan, they're probably going to settle. They don't want us finding out that they've been colluding the whole time to drag this thing on. What do you think about that? Collusion?
No, not going to happen.
How about 589 December 16th?
Okay, it's about as credible as what we've heard so far. So, why not? Why not, Jeff? Quite honestly, why not?
And why not? Jim D, wouldn't it be ironic? Isn't there a song? Wouldn't it be ironic? If the U.S. government via the SEC causes Ripple to thumb its nose and move to the EU and use its homegrown American technology to empower foreign currency markets. Now, Chip, one thing that Garlinghouse had said is that they aren't really tied to the U.S. And I believe they're obviously looking at countries all over and putting offices around the world, and their markets are expanding all over the place. So would it be too far-fetched to say, see ya, we're moving to friendlier climate?
Always possible. It's always possible, but let's let this thing shake out first. I think that there's too much energy, and we're coming up on the second anniversary of the filing. It's incredible. December 20th.
There's going to be a penthouse in the Bahamas coming available on the market.
That's right. Belonging to SPF, right? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. DJ Jarvis, why would they settle if it would give XRP clarity, or if it won't?
Correct. What Garlinghouse said, right.
Charles Hoskinson is making himself irrelevant. What do you think of that?
Well, I would say he's irrelevant when it comes to talking about XRP or the ETH gate, and he's proven himself to be a little bit silly because he doesn't really understand it. He keeps going on about this whole idea that that Hinman was secretly involved in some. Where John D was just spitting facts, like, "Hey, this is what's happened. This is what's transpired," is what Hinman said, and he put it together like there's some evil conspiracy. No, it's not like that. You got to pay attention a little bit. he's a very intelligent guy. I mean, I'd love to get him on a channel and interview him because he's great. Charles Hoskinson, I think, is a great, he's very transparent. I love watching his AMAs. He's off the cuff. I just think he's missing the boat a little bit when it comes to XRP or ETHgate or anything like that. He gets all crazy about it. And I don't really care what his opinion is about that, but I love Cardano, and I think it's a great project, and I love what he's doing over there.
And to boot, he knows a guy that knows a guy. So
that heard it from a guy, heard it from a friend.
That heard it from another guy.
From another guy.
Myron again. Charles does not deal with a lot of government entities, or does deal with a lot of government entities.
Does he?
Does he? Does he? Does he? That's a question. Jim D. BitBoy, or asserts that Hoskinson only has close contacts with the CFTC, not the SEC. He's just ranting. There you go. Chip, there are some great comments, and I'm sure there's a ton more that have come in since.
Well, there's John Deaton put out a really good thread on this, and I don't know if we'll get to read. Hey guys, your neighbor, XRP
Our neighbor, 954 right here.
954 area code, beautiful. John Deaton put a pretty good tweet thread on this. He said, is Ripple going to lose because LBRY lost? I predicted if LBRY lost, two things would happen. Number one, the SEC would rush the decision to Judge Torres, acting as if the Supreme Court ruled, right? LBRY lost. And then number two, people would come out of those shadows and claim Ripple and XRP would share the same fate. We've heard a lot of Bitcoin maxis coming out of the shadows. We've heard a lot of crazy stuff coming out. And that's exactly what we've seen. Many of these folks haven't read one brief in the case. And the ones that did read the SEC's last brief, which in all honesty was the SEC's best work product in the case. It was better because it was a reply brief responding to Ripple's arguments. Goes on to say, but Ripple doesn't have the burden of proof. The SEC does. The SEC did a decent job of replying to Ripple's pre-1934 blue sky laws argument. But let's talk about this, Jeff. Ripple does not have the burden of proof. But that's all on, that onus is on the SEC, right? As far as having to prove it,
you would think.
Right.
You would think that they brought the facts to the case right from day one. So I don't really understand why we're 2 years into this thing and they still don't have the goods, and it's interesting because the way the SEC looks at it, as Gary Gensler has reminded us multiple times, it's all clear. Why is there any confusion? It's very clear. And then he goes into the different tenets of the Howey test, and he only references one of them, and everything is supposed to kind of fall into place according to his specific plan of enforcement. And Chip, it's getting a little bit old, how they look at that. But man, I think 2 years in, and we're a couple months away from potential judgment, unless the SEC decides they want to somehow drag this on again. It's going to be. We're going to be sitting here December 20th. We're going to be here with Deaton and Jeremy Hogan, and we're going to be talking about what could potentially happen come March timeframe. And I think the way that was broken down based on James Filan, Jeremy Hogan, and John Deaton have all kind of referenced something happening in March just based on sequence of events that will unfold. I think there's some important things that are going to happen here in December, going into January. We saw that they, both parties pushed things back a little bit, but I think we're very close. We're very close. Hoskinson just, adding a little.
Yeah, I mean, potentially this one right here, guy Schleitzerbein or whatever, has said, it's funny how Jeremy Hogan.
Where'd that one go?
How Jeremy Hogan put out his last video. We must be getting close for sure. Yeah, so Jeremy Hogan put out a really good video on this as well with 3 distinct possibilities. Actually, what the fourth was being an unknown, but I think he broke down it really well. If you haven't watched Jeremy Hogan's last video, it's a very good one. Go to Legal Briefs on YouTube. I think it's a really good one. But I think if we get back to BC, there you go, from Canada.
Look at this. Legendary grew up in Nebraska.
Well, that's good enough. Legendary right there is an original OG of Nebraska. There you go. So John Deaton goes on to say, the SEC also did a decent job attacking Ripple's argument that there must be an underlying contract for an investment contract to exist. And some of you may remember when Ripple's initial summary judgment brief was filed, this is John Deaton speaking, I immediately said it was an appellate-ready brief and that it was written specifically for the Second Circuit and above. Ripple's hoping to win at the district court, but's playing the long game. And I'm on video stating it was a brilliant argument, and I hated it for the district court level. For example, Ripple argues that the word scheme used by the Supreme Court in the Howey only applies after the court finds that an underlying contract exists. So I don't believe Judge Torres is going to agree with that argument. It would require her to believe that Judge Castell was wrong in the Telegram case, as well as the appellate courts. Ripple's best chances at winning this level with the strict Howey analysis, which brings us to LBRY. Ripple XRP case in the Second Circuit. LBRY isn't. LBRY's like, wasn't LBRY in some like little Connecticut court or something, Jeff? It wasn't even like a circuit court, right? So LBRY didn't contest the common enterprise factor. Ripple and XRP holders who were granted amicus by the judge more than 1 year ago, before any amici joined, vigorously contest the common enterprise prong of Howey. Common enterprise under law. The existence of common enterprise may be demonstrated through either a horizontal commonality or vertical commonality. There's two types of vertical commonalities, either the strict vertical commonality and the broad vertical commonality. The Second Circuit has rejected broad vertical commonality, and the Second Circuit's never officially adopted strict vertical commonality, although district courts have discussed it. And it goes on and on. I mean, it's a lot of stuff, but I like how he talks about, he'll show how the SEC can't meet its burden regarding the secondary market sales of XRP, and probably can't even meet the burden regarding the direct sales by Ripple today because of that strict commonality. It requires that the fortunes of investors be tied to the fortunes of the promoter. And that's where it all kind of falls apart on a lot of levels there, Jeff.
It does. I like that.
So he goes on and on. He talks about the horizontal commonality, talks about the XRP sales made in the secondary market. He submitted 3,000 XRP purchaser affidavits demonstrating the XRP holders but do not rely on the efforts of Ripple to generate the profit. So I think this is kind of unique in a weird way, because generally when you filed that, you wouldn't have that in a normal case, right? It would just be speculation. 3,000 people, think about that. 3,000 people had to go and get it notarized. It said, this is my sworn affidavit. It's a pretty big thing.
It's big.
So
it is big.
In some token itself generates a benefit to the holders by loaning or collateralizing the token. Supreme Court made it clear. If Ripple ceased to exist, XRP or the XRP holders and companies like Spend the Bits would flourish, and Ripple's escrow was burned. Basic supply and demand economics suggest a price increase for XRP, assuming half of the existing supply was destroyed. Maybe, Jeff, but that didn't happen with XLM, right?
Yeah, but it was kind of different. They were anticipating, they cut some of the supply. Maybe there were some hopes that it was going to go up, or were they just cutting out some of the liquidity? There were too many of them. They're not burning at the rate that they need to be burned, so they burned them. I don't know if there was an expectation that they burned them, there'd be a big jump in price point, but I think with XRP and the overall utility with a ledger, if you took whatever remaining amount is sitting in escrow, let's call it maybe 50 billion. So if they burned all of it, imagine there was a vote of the validators to burn it, and they burn it. But where's Ripple going? Ripple as a company isn't going away. But the point is that Ripple is not the only user of the XRP ledger. They were the first user of the XRP ledger.
Correct.
So just because you're the first doesn't mean you're the only. So there's so many variables to it, and the amount of misinformation that is broadcast out there is just crazy. There's just so much to wade through, so much garbage. There's
a lot of garbage out there.
It's out of hand.
It really isn't. It really is insane. It is insane. So this one here, there you go. So right here, look at this. Speaking of speaking of Aussies, right here. Oh, wait.
What's up, Oz?
Australian cryptocurrency exchange.
Oz Crypto.
Digital surge goes into administration. Jeff, where are you with the sound effects? Australian cryptocurrency exchange Digital Surge collapsed into administration with 30,000 Aussie customers unable to trade or withdraw money. I was thinking of a different one.
Oh, wait. I had another one lined up.
Thank you. And
oh, no, wait. Here we go.
No, that's not it either. It's this one right here. The sad trombone. Yet another crypto exchange collapses into administration, and guess what?
thank
30,000
you. And good night.
Aussie customers
Thank
were
you.
unable to trade or withdraw money. So there you have it.
Which
So-
exchange was it?
Oz, you know
Maybe
this one,
somebody
Digital
in
Surge?
Australia could.
Do you guys know this one, Digital Surge? I never heard of it, but I don't know if it's big, but Oz, maybe you can comment on
There's
it.
always Matt, never heard of it.
Yeah, I mean, about 30,000 customers is not a huge amount of customers, but how many funds were lost there? So the platform was set up in 2017. So 5 years it's been in existence, allowed customers to access more than 300 different digital currencies before its collapse. Court meant the restructuring to the point as the administrator is working on a rescue package.
When all this happened recently? I think
Yeah,
what's happening is now there's an actual spotlight that's being put on all of these different exchanges, and a big part of it is the liquidity crunch right now, or maybe we should call it, the value, the value of the asset markets. Everything is kind of devalued a little bit from where it was before, and I think they're finding that it's kind of a hard road at this point, because when everybody's making tons of money and the prices of crypto's skyrocketing, everybody's a genius. But as soon as we are facing this extended bear market, not everybody's a genius anymore. And I think it shines a little bit, the light shines a little bit too bright in some of these areas. But at the same point, sometimes it's the smaller exchanges are going to suffer, for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's just no, there really isn't any information on what happened, but I mean,
Guys,
what happened, whatever.
We've got a lot of
happened,
Australians here. No one's heard of them.
That's really strange, right? And they've been in business since 2015, and then of course they find a way to weave in FTX in here somewhere. Let's see, what is it?
Right there.
Well,
Been
this is
using
Swift.
FTX.
Swift FTX was Swiftix. Just a coincidence, but yeah, Digital Surge has been using the FTX platform for some of its trading. Womp womp. So not good. Some of its trading.
Australia, CoinSpot, Swiftix, BTC markets, and then we'd use other large world exchanges. But that's it.
And there you have it. But I mean, it's just seems like there's something new every day with this type of activity where it just goes under. Man, sad to see
Are we
that.
rich yet?
Are we?
Are we?
Hey now. Not yet. I don't think so.
I was just saying, it seems its brokerage license was through FTX.
Oh, so it kind of was yeah, I guess it got tied up in that whole sad.
How did FTX grow so quickly in 2 years?
It does seem suspect,
on a global
no?
scale. It's so suspect. It doesn't. None of it passes the smell test. There's so many red flags with that. It just doesn't make. There's so many things that don't make sense, and that's another one of them. It's like it just from nothing to the biggest and the most influential within governments, and then all of a sudden, and now they're gone.
It's yeah, it's
FTX. As crypto saying FTX Australia got effed in the
right.
There you go.
Yeah, it's just the whole thing took down. I mean, it was so deep, but the thing is, it also took down a crypto publication as well. The Block. It was funny because the Block covered its own demise. I guess they had an injection of over $20 million into the Block. That was crazy.
That's kind of insane also. So
and nobody else knew about it.
No.
$20 million got injected to a company, but only the CEO knew about it and didn't disclose it. And then the whole thing.
Nobody knew where the money was coming from.
The money was going everywhere. It was. I mean, I think we're only the tip of the iceberg here. It was going everywhere.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more a lot more is coming out. We're definitely just seeing the beginning stages of it, and there's so many things that are tied into this. And thank God, and we've got, there's some good report out there, some good media, and then we've got some, big players in the space like Jesse Powell, for instance, Chip. Jesse Powell is on top of things. Like, I'm not entirely sure who leaked them or who stands to benefit. Here's a good question. Here's another. Why is it so easy to get the MSM to publish fake news? I denied this and pointed out the absurdity. 250,000 tether short. It's long known exchanges coordinate to recover stolen funds. But Jesse Powell, so we know, he's the CEO of Kraken. Now he's on the board and he's kind of stepped down as CEO. But when we get into this article, who's snitching on the big crypto group chat? And I look at just the beginning here. I've been somewhat unsure of what to make about the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times reports about text messages sent on Signal. I should have opened that in a different browser so we can get the ad. Sent on Signal between rival CZ and SBF around the time FTX went up in smoke. That's because I'm not entirely sure who leaked them or who stands to benefit, but I'm pretty sure someone leaked to both of those outlets because the reports went up within hours of each other. So someone wants everyone to know about this. But what is going on? Why is it that they were so quick on this one? The mainstream media so it, to really want to, pull this fast one on and report it, as quick as possible. It just, I don't know. Look, it's after the story's published, Powell wrote on Twitter, fake news, doubt that this chat ever happened. I certainly wasn't in the room. Likely someone trolling MSN. He added in another tweet. It's long known exchanges coordinated to recover stolen funds. So they're trying to wrap in, well, here's what it was here. Like, okay, we have Zhao and Bankman-Fried. Okay. Also in these chats, per the journal, were Tethers, Paulo Ardoino, probably butcher that, Tron's Justin Sun, and Kraken co-founder Jesse Powell. I missed that paragraph. I think that's
a hell
important.
of a group chat, right? That's what he said. One hell of a group chat.
That's one hell of a group chat. And to me, again, and this goes back to what we've been referencing. What was the full purpose of FTX? And it seems like as
money
it's
laundering.
starting to unfold, money laundering
seems to be a big part of it, Jeff.
A definite big part of it, a collapse of the crypto space, or at least, trying to undermine the crypto space. And then, what's interesting, I don't have the article here. I don't know if it's in the Keep, but Goldman Sachs is now looking at acquiring crypto-based companies.
Yeah, but Jeff, isn't that just convenient? So let's take it down. Let's launder all this money. Let's crash all this stuff. Convenient for the regulators. And who's that pal over there? Like, Goldman Sachs. Who came from Goldman Sachs? Gary Gensler. What does Gary Gensler need? He needs somebody to go after, right? He needs that villain. So he goes after FTX, right? Because it's so convenient that they just collapsed. And who picks up the pieces but his old pals at Goldman Sachs? And they're going to come in and just swoop it up and get it for nickels on the dollar, pennies on the dollar, whatever way you look at it. It just almost seems as though it might have been even planned. It seems there's so much going on there. And even you and I speculated back then, like, this guy comes out of obscurity, out of nowhere. And that next thing you know, he's running this thing. And Jeff, look at the way this article is written here. Sam Bankman-Fried's parents no longer on the Standford Law School roster. Joseph Bankman and Barbara Fried have started facing professional consequences for their child, the fraudster Sam Bankman-Fried's illegal actions. Now, look at the way this is written. Oh, please. The domino effect of FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried's action came full circle as his reputation began impacting the professional lives of his parents, Stanford Law professors Joe Bankman and Barbara Fried. Now, are these the ones that spent $300 million of who knows whose money? They were gifted these houses all over the place? And, oh, Jeff, it's so unfortunate. There's a little bit of backlash about that. SBS father Bankman had to cancel the winter session course on tax policy, which, according to the Stanford Daily, was at a time when the family was accused of acquiring an FTX-owned $16.4 million vacation home before the crypto exchanges collapse. I mean, it's like boo-hoo, right? It's like, oh, they were doing such good stuff. I mean, teaching policy classes, and oh, look at the blowback. If karma were real, SBF's plan to dupe FTX investors came back to haunt his family members. SBF continues to attempt to destabilize the crypto market. Most recently, SBF accused Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao of FTX's fall. I mean, do you notice everyone's responsible for this, Jeff, except for SBF? And it's like Alameda. He's like throwing them under the bus. I'm like, you own 90% of Alameda. What the hell? It's just, oh my gosh, it's just too much, man.
FTX created to take down crypto so the bankers could take over. That's why SBF is being protected, deep state central bankers, and it does come at an interesting, crossroads as we start seeing crypto markets really exploding. We saw what was possible not that long ago when we were at the tip of the bull market. Now, as we enter the bear market, and if you want to, put the icing on the bear market, that's FTX. But even while that's going on, there's still progress being made, development. There's new companies that are launching within the crypto space. So it's not all completely over. But here in the U.S. And other parts of the world, the banks and the financial institutions were late to the game to get in on this. And I do believe they feel that these exchanges, and they'll look at like a CZ or Brian Armstrong, with Coinbase and some of these others as a threat to the dominant monopolies that they have, and within the investing space. How many true exchanges are there? And so once we start moving into DeFi and these other concepts way far away from centralized control, now we don't really need all the the big power players within these large financial institutions. And I think they realize it, but if they want a piece of the game, how else do they get it? You got to crash a market, find a bottom entry point, and then they're not just coming in to invest, they're coming in here to acquire and take over. So you can't do it at the height of the market. You have to do it at the bottom of the market. And we're starting to see a little bit of that. You create a little, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, get people to sell. So if Jim Cramer is a guide, then we know something's going on.
Something is definitely going on. And speaking of which, so there's a lot was made about Maxine Waters politely asking Sam Bankman-Fried if he wasn't busy, if he would attend the hearing of the Financial Services Committee, like if it's okay, if it's not going to cramp your style or your calendar, because his calendar seems pretty wide open these days. Remember that really ridiculous tweet? And it wasn't an accidental tweet. It didn't age so well. It didn't age so well. Well, here's what's interesting. So Jake Chervinsky tweeted this out: the Sam Bankman-Fried officially been added as a witness for this upcoming week's House Financial Services Committee. John Ray will testify first, and then Sam on their own. If we look at the website here, there it is right there. There's the witness list. That's it. So you have John Ray, who's the former chief executive officer of FTX Group, and Sam Bankman-Fried, founder and former CEO of FTX. Now, Jeff, what are the chances? What chances do you put it that either one of these will actually show up? Because I don't believe it to be in person, right? It's probably going to be via Zoom, or do you think that they'll show up? I mean, are we going to see them at all, even on camera? What do you think?
I was thinking about that. I'm trying to figure out, is SBF actually going to show up? Is SBF going to leave the Bahamas and arrive to the U.S.?
No.
If he arrives to the U.S., there's a high probability that he'll get arrested while he appears. There's a lot of big players in the industry. There's a lot of people protecting him right now because there had to be some of the when you have the marionette, who's the one that controls that? The marionette.
Puppeteer. The puppeteer.
So
the marionette. I like that better. I think we should go with marionette because puppeteer
makes a lot more sense, right?
Yeah, the marionette.
You have the marionette
sinister,
and then
Jeff.
marionette.
That marionette, man, sinister as can be, man.
That's right. A puppeteer doesn't sound quite so sinister.
Sounds normal. sounds like somebody would show up at a kid's theater like the marionetter.
Marionetter. I don't
The
know.
marionetter. Who's the
No.
marionetter?
Who's the mayor? Who's
Exactly.
pulling the
Who's behind
string?
this? Right.
Who's behind all of this?
The marionetter.
Exactly is going
That's
on.
good stuff.
I want to look that up. We're gonna send SBF over to Dubai and see how he fares over in Dubai.
Yikes.
I think he might do pretty well. And Ab, you could maybe take him to the mall and bring him on the indoor ski slope. Let him play with the penguins, ski a little bit, bring him up to the Burj Khalifa, and then send him back to the U.S. Give him one less round of fun.
The Burj Khalifa as the marionetter. The marionetter visits the Burj Khalifa. Say that 5 times fast. The marionetter. So, Jeff, you know that famous meme that's a takeoff of Star Wars, where you have, you're going to do this, right? And then it's like, right. Well, somebody injected Gary, your daddy G Gensler, into this. And here, let's put this up here on screen here. Here it is right here. The top left panel, we have Gary Gensler with hair, which is frightening in itself. Looks like he's wearing like one of those Russian, what are those hats they wear, those things? Those little thing, right? I don't know what that's called, but somebody in the chat probably knows. And so she's like, you're here to protect investors, right, Gary? And then there's the other panel where he has that stupid look on his face. And she's like, right, Gary? Geez, I don't think that's a right. I could be wrong on that, but it's just not going there. That meme never gets old. And also, Joel, David Schwartz, he did this. Let me see if I can. So somebody's like, I got to tell you how clever the people are here, Jeff, because David Katz did this one. He was, how he posts, his AI art. Now this one sneakily, this is just like, robots taking over, like dystopian type universe. This one is like a kind of a pulled back shot, like a wide shot of that same thing where robots are destroying. Then you got another one where you got a guy and a robot's about ready to take him out. And then you have this random one. It looks very, very much like a Gary Gensler. And you're like, well, what's going on there? Well, this guy kind of figured it out. This guy's figured it out right there. And it's just like
Are those the hands?
He kind of like, he kind of figured that out. I mean, like, and so there it is right there. That's like,
remember when he'd hold his hands like this?
Yeah, but that's not his hands, Jeff. That is that's not his hands.
I know what that is.
Yeah. I'm just saying, Jeff. Just saying. Not his hands, apparently.
Not
David,
his hands.
But David Schwartz did that drawing. By the way, I did a whole bunch of AI David Schwartz's, and they came out pretty interesting. I'm trying to figure out a way to incorporate that into a tweet or something, but I was just having a good time with that. But yeah, that was kind of scary at the same time, man.
Jim D brings up a good point. The thing most forget about prison is they protect the scoundrel criminals from being killed by angry vigilantes.
Yeah.
So that's that crowd that's outside.
Lost their money that Gary Gensler was supposed to protect.
Man, that crowd is not happy.
How about Elon Musk? Now, Elon Musk, who purchased Twitter, is having a good time over there.
Alchemist. That's what it's called. Bald fists.
It sure is. That's what it is. So Hans Loaded said, where is Blockchain Backer? Blockchain Backer is going to be on next Sunday night. So he's going to be next Sunday night. We're going to have Blockchain Backer coming back. And when Jeff and I got to spend a lot of time with him, and it was really awesome. Next Sunday.
Monday.
Yeah. So thanks for bringing that up. We should have brought that up early on. But what am I sipping? This is actually, interestingly enough, it's a Guinness, but it's 0 alcohol, and it is fantastic. I have to say, There it is, right there.
Guinness 0.
It's unbelievably good, tasty. Don't try it. And it's low calorie. So thank you for asking that.
I've actually never seen it. Where do you buy non-alcoholic beer?
It's called the grocery store. It's right next to the Guinness. Alex D Vlogs, thank you for that. Bitcoin on the chain, the best. Let's go. 12.50 in Bitcoin, obviously.
12.15.
Maxine.
Bitcoin.
famously, Maxine Waters famously, in a hearing, or so called it Bitcoin. So thank you for bringing that up. She's clueless as hell. Thank you for that, man. Let's go 12:15, baby. Let's do it.
Miguel Castillo is saying, I think that settlement is most likely in order to take out 99% of crypto. Even Garlinghouse said that only 1% would survive. That's why Charles is scared. That's a great point, Chip. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, a settlement, but it's not the settlement that's going to take out 99% of crypto. That's my opinion. I don't believe it's going to be a settlement, but I do get that might be where some of that concern is, because remember, in order for a settlement to happen, they could say, well, it looks as though today's XRP, they would have to say and admit that today's XRP is not a security. Is the SEC willing to do that? It doesn't seem like it. Would they be? Maybe. But if the judge splits the baby, so to speak, and says that all sales before, let's say 2015, 2017, 2018 were security sales, but anything that happened after whatever 2015, 16, 17, 18, or at least what it would say that today's XRP is not a security, that would be one way. Be like, okay, great, XRP is in the clear, but then Ripple pays some kind of fine, so the SEC could claim a little bit of victory, like, you see, we went after him, we told him it was a, but I don't know, man. I even think that might be a long shot.
So, Chip, Walter Ego is saying 0 alcohol, so you can still piss and not get drunk. So
well, if gin drunk's your priority, then I would say, do not drink 0 alcohol. That was my first point. Would be that don't do that.
Well, here's the question.
You asked, and I said it, man. It's got the same.
If you like having Guinness with a shot of Jameson or a good Irish whiskey while you're drinking Guinness, then if you have 0 Guinness, then you probably need to double up on the Jameson.
There you go. So you get that way. It's you lower the calories that way, Jeff.
You lower the calories.
The same flavor and taste.
You gotta know how to play the game.
That's how it is. Thank you for that, Alex D. So hang on a second. So here's one from Oz Crypto says, I think that 99% is not legitimate to begin with. So there are 21,844 cryptocurrency, which is 21,800 and change too many. I don't know. But that's where the market forces come into play, and that's where the market decides. It shouldn't be government entities blowing this stuff out of the water. Here's another one, Jeff, I want to get into. Elon Musk says Sam Bankman-Fried should go to
alcohol
prison.
Kills virus.
That's true. That's like I don't drink any. Just I'm not drinking it now. Should go to prison, while Binance's boss calls him a master manipulator. 8 top 10 figures weigh in on the disgraced. See, now they're starting to get a little more brutal. Disgraced FT. He's not so disgraced. It doesn't seem like he's all that disgraced, right? I mean, it seems
Who's
like
that guy sitting behind him? Go back to that's an old picture, isn't it?
It must be.
Got to be an old picture. Who's that guy with that diaper on his face?
Who knows, man?
Take a big ass respirator.
To find. Yeah, so Elon Musk said, let's give him an adult timeout in the big house and move on. Mark Cuban, billionaire owner of the Dallas Mavericks NBA team, said, I don't know all the details, but if I were him, I'd be afraid of going to jail for a long time. The Shark Tank investor told TMZ. Brian Armstrong, CEO for Coinbase, said, appears that a massive fraud was committed. I think the customer funds appear to have been moved over to his hedge fund that he owned 90% of. He doesn't seem to know about that, Jeff. I don't know. And that those customer funds were lost. Armstrong said in an interview with a podcast, and he said, even the tweet back and forth with Maxine Waters, very politely asking him to attend a hearing and him politely deferring. It was just bizarre. Yeah, maybe, but maybe it's very political too. Bill Ackman, CEO of hedge fund Pershing Square, said, FTX official fiasco is at a minimum the most egregious, large-scale case of business gross negligence that I have observed in my career, and that conclusion is reinforced by SBF's recent public statements, Ackman said on Twitter. CZ, we know what CZ said. Mike Novogratz, remember Mike?
What did he say?
He said it was delusional. Let's be really clear. Sam was delusional about what happened, his culpability into it. The crypto bull believes that Bankman-Fried will probably end up in jail, but doesn't think he was acting alone. Oh, yeah, that's part of it. I think he might be the fall guy, but how does it that then the money goes to Ukraine? The U.S. gives all this money to Ukraine. Nobody already. They've already lost track of 10 billion of it. Interesting. Ukraine invested in FTX. FTX is using customer funds. FTX is acquiring failing exchanges by saying, "Well, just don't worry about it. We just want all of your users' accounts so that we can manipulate that and put that everywhere." So where was this money really flowing? I think this SBF, everyone's like, "Oh, Sam Bankman-Fried." Sam Bankman-Fried is a pawn in this whole thing. This is way bigger than Sam Bankman-Fried.
I think, he's definitely one of the pieces on the board, and he's definitely not. He's not the mastermind. He's not the master manipulator. He didn't, Chipster. What's up, Chipster?
Who said that? I'm the Chipster. I changed that. I changed it. I changed it to Chipster.
Right now.
I want to be.
Oscar was saying, do you think people will FOMO into XRP on the 15th? So I put that up as a poll. So there's an active live poll right now going. So you guys can answer that one. Thank you, Oscar, for putting that up. And yes, Iris Media, Guinness does rock. Guinness is the best, especially when it's poured correctly. Now, I was we're at a bar somewhere. I ordered a Guinness, and the guy brought this Guinness out so quickly. I said, "There's no way this is poured properly."
Yeah. It was that last weekend? Yeah, it was last week. We drank it. Yeah, it was. John Ray. Sorry, and John Ray is the new CEO. So I think he's testifying. I think I said the former, but he's the new one. He said, "Never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls and such a complete absence of trustworthy financial information as occurred here." Ray said in Crypto Exchange's Chapter 11 filing, from compromised systems of integrity to faulty regulatory oversight abroad to the concentration of control in the hands of a very small group of inexperienced, unsophisticated, and potentially compromised individuals, this situation is unprecedented, said Ray, who oversaw the Enron bankruptcy in his 40-year career. That there's some interesting words, Jeff, if we want to break this down. Unsophisticated, potentially compromised. What do you think he means by compromised individuals? Compromised how? How do you think he's using that? That's interesting, right?
That is interesting. Who was compromised and how are they compromised?
Well, he said it was a very small group of inexperienced, unsophisticated, potentially compromised. And I'm like, where were they? So it sounds like it's leading to something else, right?
Sounds like it's leading to them being controlled by another entity or entities or individuals. And, maybe one of the guys happens to have the initials GG. Not 100% sure.
Well, this is the second part of it. If we look at this right here, let's just zoom in on this a little bit. But if we go right here where he says integrity, compromised systems integrity and faulty regulatory oversight abroad. Okay, understood. Overbroad. But what is he talking about that? Where is the faulty oversight abroad? Is he blaming regulators from other countries? I mean, what's going on there?
Well, here's the question: so let's look at the SEC as an example. The SEC is overly focused on making sure that every company abides by every one of their enforcement policies, including their environmental, the ESG nonsense, right? So if they're so concerned about that, why were they so lackluster when it came to FTX? They're so on top of everybody else. And as you go around the world, other countries are very equally assertive when it comes to other exchanges, when it comes to other financial institutions, when it comes to other financial products or assets, whatever it might be. But with SBF and FTX, let's say FTX in general, it just seems like there's something a little bit missing. So if these individuals were compromised, to what scale were they compromised, and how many marionetters were
for sure
were responsible for this? Let me
put this up. So I wanted to put this Oz Crypto one up. He says, he was talking to Alex D Vlogs. He's like, they always are. It's why you have nonsense hype monkeys spewing bull crap, getting tens of thousands of views when a stream like this would be lucky to get a few thousand. Yeah, I mean, and part of it is do we put stuff on this? Most of the stuff we put on the thumbnail, we talk about it. We talk about the date. We cover it. But Jeff, I mean, like hearing like Like it was 50,000 per XRP. Now it's 100,000 per XRP. I mean, would I like to see that? But what year is that? 2065? I mean, when is that going to happen?
What happened to 589? Good old
Seemed like
5.
such a good, right.
How do we go from 589 to 50,000 or 100,000?
No, man. I don't know.
I just want a path. How do we get a path to back to $1 or a path to $10? $10 is reasonable in a short period of time, I would think. You know, just based on where things were headed back in 2018 and the percentage of increase by all the other assets around it. You know, so if we hit that $3, what was it, 369? You know, then come on, let's go. What happened to 589? 589 was exciting. Could be $5.89. Could be $589. It could even at this point, Chip, it could be 58 cents. It could be 0.589.
Right. There it is right there. Yeah, what happened to it? Love you,
let's
Jeff.
hit the whole lineage of 589.
How about 50 cents? All Hefty says. Come on.
50 cents, exactly.
Oh, that's crazy talk.
Go back.
Listen, that's conspiracy talk right there. 50 cents. What are you talking about, man?
50 cents. Come on.
$1 million per XRP.
A million,
yeah,
1
right.
million XRP.
Oh, I can't. That's just a big number, Doug. I can't. It's not because there's no commas. I can't even like interpret that number. It seems way too big. There it is right there. There it is. Terrence Gould got it. 599 cents. There it is right there. That makes a little bit more sense there. You have to think bigger. There's other planets too. There you go. Right now we're in other planets.
Other planets and other civilizations.
Yeah, there you go. It's always
not enough to go around.
Right? It's incredible what all this stuff means, Jeff. I mean, it really is kind of crazy.
Now, Walter Eagle was saying the ones seen dancing were thought to be insane by the ones that could not hear the music. That was Nietzsche.
There you go. Well, guys, you know what? It is that time, guys. Really appreciate it as we get ready to start our week. And if you're an Aussie and you're Oz crypto, you are already into your week on a Monday. Happy Monday to you. Happy week to everybody.
Over there.
And if you're in here still, guys, please like, subscribe. It really put anything in the comment. It helps the channel out. That's all I have, Jeff. You want to get us out of here, take us out?
I do. I'm going to end this poll. And this poll that we ran, will people FOMO into XRP on December 15th? 51% said no, 48% said yes. So the no's have it. There will be no FOMOing going on December 15th. There might be a little bit of FUDDing, but there will be no FOMO. As always, you guys are the best and the brightest in the crypto space right here on YouTube. We appreciate you guys. We were streaming tonight on Rumble, so we'll see how that all panned out. We've been streaming in the past. We took a little break on Rumble. Now we're streaming over there again, over there on Twitter too. Any of those Twitters and the Twitchers. But we'll see you guys back right here Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. That's all I got.
A shout out from our one fan from Nebraska. And thank you for all the super chats. And that would be none other than Alex D Vlogs. Thank you very much.
Man, we got the...
Alex D. So that's all we got, guys. We got to see you on the next one. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Out. Thank you and good night. We are out of here. So see you later, guys.
Thank you.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.